We're back in the water after our haul out and have done a handful of DIY projects on the boat so far. But we're quickly realising that we've already made quite a few mistakes that we need to fix before we can move on to our most ambitious project yet, an overhaul of our electrical system to install an inverter and convert to lithium batteries. What are we doing today, Stu?
Checking out the anchor chain. I haven't really looked at it, so we're measuring it, looking for corrosion, trying to decide what to do with it. You know, do we want to keep it? Do we want to get more chain? So far it looks pretty good. Pretty happy with it.
Today we are tackling the boat job that we have nicknamed Inspect the Awkward but Important Things. So we're starting off with the anchor chain, and then we're hopefully going to have a look at the chain plates and some of the tanks a little bit later. So yeah, Stu's just getting the hose out to give the anchor chain a bit of a wash because there's some areas that are looking a little bit gross, but we need to see if they are rust or if they're just mud. How's it going, Stu?
Yeah, not ideal. Filled the anchor locker with water and it's not draining. It's like filled with mud. Yeah. Take a look at that.
The attempt to clean the anchor locker is going poorly so far. We've tried poking the drains with a stick to see if we could dislodge the mud, but that's not worked. So now Stu has volunteered, because he's a gent, to go in and unblock. Looking better?
Yeah, got the stuff out of it.
What's the verdict on the anchor locker then?
The scuppers are quite small, so I'm wondering if we want to put like a grate or something above them to help the anchor locker drain. And there's definitely some sealant and stuff that needs to get rebedded. But otherwise I think it's okay. It's quite deep.
Yeah, it's very deep, but it still needs a little bit more of a clean, and we need to redo the sealant, but otherwise, number one awkward thing, done. One of the other awkward but important things to inspect was our standing rigging, so it was time for Stu to head up the mast. We'd also taken down all of our running rigging to give it a wash, which had all gone without a hitch, apart from our spinnaker halyard that got stuck at the top of the mast as we were putting it back in.
Yeah, actually maybe give me up about another half a metre. Yeah.
We hadn't realised that this line runs through a low friction ring at the top of the mast, which was very narrow. We put gaffer tape around the join between our mousing line and the halyard to prevent the join from snagging on anything inside the mast, but this had the complete opposite effect when it got stuck in this ring. Stu cut the end of the rope off and manually fed it back through to sort it out.
All right, that's good. Yeah, now I'm in position, yeah.
Next up, another problem of our own making. When we were putting antifreeze in our pipes, we didn't know that we had a deck shower on Delfino, so we didn't run any antifreeze through it. Obviously, during the winter, it froze and split, meaning that we had a leak when we repressurised the freshwater system in the spring.
See what I mean?
Yeah. What are we doing, Stu?
Going to the damn chandlery for the third time in the last 2 days. Trying to fix our shower.
Yeah, so we thought it was the pipe, went and bought some pipes. It's not the pipe, it's the actual fittings. Now I'm having to go back and buy the shower mixer. Although our boat has a separate shower head and shower mixer on the outside for the deck shower, and it seems like most places only sell combined ones now, so we're going to have to figure out if we can get a combined one that will fit in the space and what we're going to do with our spare shower head going forward. Fun, fun, fun. Luckily we managed to find just the part that we needed at the chandlery, so we got to work installing it.
I think that's the one that has gone missing.
I was just about to say that everything's going really well.
Just use these guys. That's how you stop leaks. You use quality fittings, and you do it. Those are going to be like fused together.
Stu gets top marks for his optimism here, but we actually had to redo this connection 3 times to fully stop it leaking, each time applying more and more plumber's tape and tightening the bolts further and further each time. Then we moved on to the biggest project that we'd undertake before we moved aboard, upgrading our electrical system to swap out our old AGM batteries for new shiny lithiums, and adding a 3 kilowatt inverter to power anything that plugs in and uses AC power while we're at anchor.
Just in the middle of the install for the new lithium batteries. The electricians have been out for a day and a half now. We've definitely put a lot of stuff into a tiny space, but I think, touch wood, should all fit. Pretty exciting. I'm pretty jazzed to see how this is going to work once it's all wired up. Just to give you a sense of what we've been doing, that's the 3000 watt inverter. We had to cut a bit of a hole in that bulkhead there. We should be fine, not too worried about losing any structural integrity or anything. We've got those very chunky cables running back behind the water tank back there. It was a great spot for it. And they come out back there and they go under the battery box and they enter the Lynx distributor. We've got our 2 smart chargers. That's the auxiliary, the backup. The primary one is on this side. Can't quite see it, but there's a big nice ventilation gap, and I'm probably going to install a fan here, 12 volt van. Secondary bus bar for various things, plus the smart battery protect. This is the new spot under here. That's not quite wired up yet. Well, specifically it's not fused. This one, if I can figure out how to open it. Shore power on, battery charger. Turn you on. And should see 1 flashing light and another flashing light. Which is good.
We're glad we weren't living aboard during this process because, as you can see, it was much more disruptive than we initially expected. We couldn't just take out the old batteries and slot in the new lithiums. We had to change the majority of the system to support the change in batteries. What's just happened?
The inverter's working. We've got power. Oh, that is so satisfying. So good. So much work to get to this point.
With the difficult bits of the electrical install done, the professionals left us to finish up the easy bits. Our bow thruster and windlass draw very high loads for a short period of time, so are better powered by an engine starter AGM battery, but this means that they need to be separated from the lithium circuit and charged by a DC to DC charger. So we followed the professionals' instructions, drew ourselves a diagram and got to work.
Hello. It's very tight in here. You're calling it carnage, Laura, but I think it's a well-organized workshop.
With everything hooked up, it was time to turn it all on and test out the system.
The DC to DC charger is on, and I'm updating that one. So it's getting power, seems to be happy. Let's turn the main switch on for the forward system.
Fingers crossed. Oh, it's looking very promising. Right, are you ready for me to try?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I think it's warming up. I think I've been too eager. It turns out bow thrusters don't warm up, it just wasn't working. We figured out that the smart battery protect that we'd bought for this part of the install wasn't able to handle the current flowing through the system. We moved some wires around and the problem was solved. We were pleased with ourselves for about 10 minutes before we found our next problem.
We've been testing out the electrical install. Part of the install involved rerouting a hose from the port water tank here, and it's leaking. And now, because of where the inverter is, it's in a really difficult to reach spot. So yeah, just got to figure out what we do with that. I think we're going to have to empty the tank and redo the hose. So no biggie, but just the joys of boat ownership.
Fixing this leak marked a bit of a turning point for us. We finally felt like we were on the right path. We're bound to make mistakes along the way, but finding and fixing them is part of the journey. The learning curve has been steep, and maybe one day I'll start enjoying boat work as much as Stu does. Join us next time as we move aboard, leave the marina that's been Delfino's home for the past 9 months, and spend our first night at anchor.